This is a GTX 660, introduced by NVIDIA in 2012. It has 960 CUDA cores, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and what I'd like to do in today's episode is see if repasting this and cleaning this particular card up will improve its performance. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, before we even start taking things apart, I'm running Firmark here, and as you can see, Firmark is running really well. I will bring up the statistics of temperatures and things like that, and you can see that the CPU is running at 50% load, around about 50 to 60 degrees C on the package. The GTX 660, however, is climbing very, very high, up to about 60 degrees at this point, and it stays at around 60 degrees for the entire 10 minutes that I run Firmark for. The indoor ambient temperature at the moment within the UK is 24.5. It's an exceptionally hot day today, and I feel like melting. So with this, we can see that it's running really well. And after Firmark's complete, that's it. Here are all his temperatures. And next up we have 3D Time Spy. Even though this is an Intel i5 7600K and it has 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, you can see that 3D Max still takes some time to actually load. Once we're in here, you'll be able to see that the frame rate is a measly little 4 frames per second. Not very good, but we're mainly looking at temperatures and things like that, and unfortunately that's all the frame rate this machine's got. Okay, so not very impressive there. A measly 4 FPS through 3D Time Spy. Temperature's quite high, around about 60, and a final 3D Max score of 1511. Not impressive at all. So let's see if a cleanup will improve things. So as we can see here, we have the GTX 660. Now this one has seen better days. I purchased from Facebook Marketplace and it's not really very clean. So if we're going to look at this, first of all we have to take it apart, and first figuring out if its cleaning is going to make it any different to its performance and see what it gets from its benchmarks. So as we look around this, if we look around this particular graphics card, we need to have a look and see where the screws are, and we'll see that there's a screw here and there's one over on the other side which is mirrored on both sides. You need to remove these 2 screws here to be able to remove all the plastic sections around the fan and the heatsink. Again, there are others on the other side. So again, mirrored, one here and one here. So the card doesn't come off the top, doesn't the fans, and I find that after looking around there's a couple of hidden screws that I didn't know about. So that on each side there's one under a wire just here. So if I remove that one first, just get the screwdriver in. And again back on the other side, and this one is right underneath the heat pipe. Just here above the power connector, right above below the heat pipe. I'm going to have to get in there and just take that one out. Now the 6 screws are out, we can remove the fans off the top, and you can see all the dirt and grime. Ew, not very nice. Next, we'll take a quick look. And before we can actually proceed on this, we need to unclip the 2 fan power sockets. These are located right at the very top up here, and we'll just unplug those and make sure that they are out of the way. We'll move this out of the way. Now we can see that it's what it looks like without the fans on, and now we should have 6 more screws. Yep. These 2 here at the bottom of the heatsink, and that holds the bottom of the heatsink to the memory modules on the other side, and then you have the 4 here for the actual cold plate to actually sit on top of the die. I know, boring watching me unscrew 4 screws. Sorry, not sorry. Final screw. Then we should be able to flip this over and gently pull. Hopefully it should pop right off. There we go. Fantastic. Came off with a bit of speed there, because now when we look at this and we actually look at the thermal compound, first of all you can see that there's a thermal pad, but then the thermal compound is really hard. It's just brittle and breaking away, and it's not very good at all. So all that needs replacing. Here we can see the NVIDIA chip on top of the card, and again the thermal paste really needed replacing. It's not very good, it's very dry, so we're going to move on to that shortly. So next we move on to the cleaning and repasting of this particular device. So you'll see that I've sped up this part of the video because It's just boring watching me clean stuff. But first of all, we make sure that we get rid of all that crusty stuff. I use some Tim Cleaner, which is by Akasar. It smells nice. It's actually based on lemons, so it's really cool. I then hoover out and blow out all the old dust and air, making sure that there's nothing there, before finally repasting and re-putting all the paste back on and screwing the whole thing back together, and then you'll join me at the end where everything is complete and it's all done. And again, I won't bore you with the details of running through Furmark again, but here are the temperatures side by side. You've got the before in blue and the after in orange, and you can see it made virtually no difference, 1 maybe 2 FPS across the whole board. So nothing really drastic at all that can help. So there you go. All the results are in and there's not much difference. So as you can see, no real point in doing any of that. However, we did get an increase of 1 frame per second and the temperatures did drop by 1 degree Celsius. So really, if it was any other card with any better cooling, you'd probably find that you get a bigger result. However, this is a very old card and I wasn't expecting anything dramatic to happen. Is it worth using this card for gaming? Definitely not. For FPS, I wouldn't use this card. I would go and I would purchase something slightly better, and as we go through these videos we're going to go and have a look at some of these different cards to see which ones we can actually get relatively cheap and get the best performance from. So if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe below, and I will see you all next time.